Have you ever found yourself feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges? Perhaps you're stuck in a job that drains you, dealing with complicated relationships, or feeling like your dreams are slipping away. Life often feels like a series of punches, and you weren't given the manual on how to dodge them. But here's the twist. Despite the hardships, you keep going. You get knocked down, but you rise again. That resilience you carry, the ability to stand tall in the face of adversity, could very well be the most powerful tool you have. This strength doesn't come from being invulnerable to life's blows. It's about how we face them, adapt, and keep moving forward. In Buddhist philosophy, we learn that while we can't control the storms life throws our way, we can control how we respond to them. If you've ever thought, "I'll get through this," even when everything felt like it was falling apart, then you know the true power of a strong mind. In today's video, we will explore 7 signs that reveal you have a strong mind, one that can overcome any challenge, transform adversity into growth, and navigate life's ups and downs with wisdom and patience. You might just be surprised at how much strength lies within you. 1. You are in control of your emotions. Imagine starting your day at work, only to find a harsh email from your boss criticizing your performance. Anger and frustration surge within you. Your first instinct might be to fire back a sharp response. But here's where the power of a strong mind comes in. You pause. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a moment to breathe and reflect. You realize that responding out of anger will only escalate things. So you choose to reply calmly and professionally, explaining your side with clarity and respect. This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them and using them wisely. Buddhist teachings remind us that emotions are temporary waves that come and go. They're not meant to control us, but to inform us. By pausing and allowing reason to guide your actions, you maintain your inner peace and avoid unnecessary conflict. Mastering emotional control doesn't happen overnight, but with each thoughtful response, you're building a strong, resilient mind. This practice not only helps you handle challenges with grace, but also shows others your ability to stay steady, no matter what life throws your way. In a world that constantly pushes us to react, emotional control becomes an act of strength. It means you're in charge of your peace and your actions. Every time you pause before reacting, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're creating space for wisdom to lead you. 2. You know how to handle failure. It's a word that most of us dread, but here's the truth. Failure is not the monster we make it out to be. It's an inevitable part of life, and in fact, it's one of the most powerful teachers you'll ever encounter. Rather than something to avoid, it's something to lean into, learn from, and embrace as a crucial stepping stone toward success. Think back to a time when you failed. Maybe you didn't get the job you worked so hard for, or perhaps you stumbled in a project you were passionate about. In that moment, it felt like a crushing blow, didn't it? Your heart sinks, frustration takes over, and the impulse is to drown in disappointment. But here's where the strength of a strong mind truly shines. Instead of wallowing, you make a powerful choice. You decide to learn. You recognize that failure isn't the end of the road. It's just part of the journey. Rather than letting that rejection or setback consume you, you turn it into fuel. You pick yourself up and ask, what can I do to be better? How can I grow from this? You enroll in new courses, you polish your skills, and you go back to the drawing board, stronger, wiser, and even more determined than before. And guess what? Eventually, that initial failure leads you to something even better, a new opportunity that's better aligned with your goals and desires. This is what a strong mind understands. Failure is not a roadblock. It's a catalyst. It's the universe's way of pushing you to be better. Instead of fearing failure, you learn to see it as an invaluable opportunity to grow. Every failure holds a lesson, whether it's in gaining new skills, refining your approach, or discovering a deeper strength within yourself that you didn't know existed. Buddhism teaches us that we can't control everything that happens in our lives. We can't control when or how we fail, but we can control how we respond. Life will throw us curveballs, and the Buddha himself taught that suffering is a part of the human experience. What truly matters, however, is what we do with that suffering. Will you let it define you, or will you choose to use it as a springboard for your personal evolution? A strong mind understands that failure is not the end. It's simply the beginning of a new chapter. It's a test of resilience, and the way you respond will determine how quickly you rise and how much stronger you become. When we allow ourselves to view failure from this perspective, it changes everything. Suddenly, every setback is no longer a reason to quit. It becomes an invitation to persevere, learn, and grow. And the more we practice this mindset, the less fear we have of failure. Instead of a dreaded possibility, it becomes a familiar companion on the road to success. Failure doesn't need to break you, it can build you. The secret is in how you handle it. When you fall, don't see it as a sign of weakness. See it as a lesson in disguise, one that will make you more capable, more resilient, and more prepared for the next challenge. The strong-minded person doesn't shy away from failure. They meet it head-on and emerge stronger with each experience. Imagine a life where you no longer fear failure, but embrace it with open arms, knowing that each failure is simply the universe's way of pushing you to the next level. Every failure gets you closer to your dream, closer to the person you're meant to become. It's not the failures that define you, it's how you rise from them. So the next time failure knocks at your door, don't flinch. Open it wide, welcome it in, and learn everything it has to offer. Because with each failure, you're getting one step closer to success and a whole lot closer to becoming the strongest version of yourself. 3, you learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's a part of life, an inevitable, often frustrating part. Whether it's missing a crucial deadline, falling short of expectations, or making a wrong turn in a decision, failure has a way of knocking us down. But what if I told you that these moments of failure are actually the most valuable moments of all? Imagine a young boy named Jack learning to ride a bike. He's excited, determined, but on his very first try, he falls hard. He scrapes his knees, his confidence takes a hit, and for a second he wonders if he's cut out for this. But instead of giving up, Jack pauses. He doesn't see this fall as an end. He looks at his bike, analyzes what went wrong, and realizes it wasn't his bike or the road. It was his technique. Maybe he was pedaling too fast, or maybe he wasn't balancing properly. Jack doesn't throw in the towel. He gets back up, adjusts his approach, and tries again. This time he's more careful, more aware, and soon enough, Jack is zipping around with a big smile on his face. Proof that perseverance and learning from mistakes lead to success. Jack's story is a perfect metaphor for life. Mistakes are inevitable, but they are never the end of the road. They're simply a part of the journey. The key is to learn from them, adapt, and keep moving forward. A strong mind doesn't see mistakes as failures. They see them as opportunities for growth. It's not about avoiding failure, but about learning from it. It takes real strength and courage to admit when something hasn't worked out, to face our shortcomings, and to look failure in the eye without flinching. But those who embrace mistakes as lessons become the strongest, most resilient people. Think about it. How many times have you made a mistake and thought, I'll never get this right? But what if you reframe that thought? What if, instead of seeing it as a failure, you saw it as a moment to learn and evolve? Every mistake is an invitation to improve, to reassess, and to come back stronger. With each misstep, you're not falling behind. You're stepping forward on the path of self-improvement. Buddhist teachings echo this wisdom. Mistakes aren't failures. They're opportunities for deeper understanding. The Buddha himself understood that life is full of challenges and obstacles. What matters is how we respond. Instead of seeing mistakes as a personal defeat, we can view them as stepping stones on the path to wisdom. In Buddhism, failure isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's simply part of the cycle of learning and growing. Imagine if we could all approach mistakes with that mindset. Instead of beating ourselves up or avoiding risks, we dive in head first, knowing that even if we stumble, we're still moving forward. We're learning, we're evolving, we're growing. This is the power of a strong mind, a mind that sees mistakes not as setbacks, but as opportunities to rise higher. Take a look at some of the greatest figures in history. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, famously failed over 1,000 times before he found success. Yet each failure was a lesson, not a roadblock. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Imagine if he had given up after his first few setbacks. He would have never changed the world. But instead, he turned every failure into a stepping stone, each failure bringing him closer to his ultimate success. What if you took that same approach to your own life? What if you saw every mistake, every failure, as a step toward becoming your best self? Think of how freeing that would be. You wouldn't be trapped in fear of making mistakes. You'd be emboldened by them, motivated to try again, learn more, and grow stronger. With each mistake, you would be one step closer to mastering your craft, your goals, and your purpose. Mistakes also offer us something priceless: self-awareness. Every time you fail and reflect on what went wrong, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself, how you think, how you react, and how you can adapt moving forward. This level of self-awareness is the foundation of true growth. The beauty of learning from your mistakes is that it frees you from the fear of failure. You no longer have to worry about falling short because you know that failure is just another opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. It's not about getting everything right. It's about gaining wisdom with every step you take, even when you fall. So the next time you make a mistake, don't panic or beat yourself up. Instead, embrace it, learn from it, and then keep moving forward with the knowledge that each failure is simply part of your personal journey to greatness. Just like Jack learning to ride his bike, every time you get back up, you're one step closer to mastering your life's challenges. The more mistakes you make, the stronger, wiser, and more capable you become. 4. You live life according to your values. Imagine this. You've just landed a job offer that promises everything: wealth, prestige, status. It's the kind of opportunity that makes everyone else envious. Your friends are excited for you, and the world seems to cheer you on. But then, as you look closer, you start to feel the weight of the trade-offs. The job demands long hours, your personal time vanishes, and you can already sense the toll it will take on your values, the very things that make you who you are. Now you're at a crossroads. What do? Do you chase after the external rewards, the money, the recognition, the lifestyle? Or do you stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does this align with my values? This is where the power of a strong mind truly shines. A strong mind doesn't bow to external pressures or fleeting desires. Instead, it reflects deeply on what truly matters. It asks the hard questions. What will make me feel fulfilled long-term? What will allow me to live a life that feels authentic? A strong mind doesn't fall for the superficial allure of success. It knows that true fulfillment comes from staying rooted in what matters most, our core values. Living according to your values in today's world is not just rare, it's revolutionary. Everywhere we look, society pushes us toward the pursuit of wealth, power, and recognition. We're told that success is measured by what we own, what we wear, and the accolades we collect. But deep down, we know that this kind of success feels hollow without the substance of authenticity. Here's where Buddhist wisdom becomes a guiding light. Buddhism teaches us that the pursuit of material wealth and external validation can never bring true happiness. The Buddhist path is all about aligning with our deepest values: compassion, integrity, mindfulness, and inner peace. It's about making decisions that resonate with our true selves, not what the world demands from us. In this way, living according to our values isn't just a choice, it's a way of life that brings us lasting fulfillment. When we make choices based on what is truly important to us, something incredible happens. We feel aligned, empowered, and at peace with ourselves. There's no internal struggle, no sense of compromise. We know that the decisions we make are a reflection of our inner truth. And when we live this way, we become stronger in our ability to face external pressures. The world may demand we chase after status or wealth, but we know we're building a life that reflects who we truly are. This strength doesn't come easily. Living authentically in a world that pushes conformity is tough. There will always be temptations, distractions, and moments when it feels like you're the only one standing firm. But this is precisely what makes living according to your values so powerful. It's a radical act of self-respect. It's about refusing to sell your soul for the world's approval. When we live from a place of authenticity, we cultivate a life that's not only meaningful to us, but also inspiring to others. We stop measuring ourselves by what others think or how much we can accumulate, and instead we define success on our own terms. This doesn't mean that we'll never face challenges or that we won't make difficult decisions. But when we make choices that align with our values, we have the clarity and strength to tackle life's toughest moments with grace. Think for a moment about your deepest values. What truly drives you? Is it honesty, compassion, freedom, creativity? When you know your core principles, you can make decisions that align with your authentic self, and you won't be swayed by the shifting tides of external expectations. You will find a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction, one that no promotion or social media can ever replicate. Living according to your values also means finding true freedom. When you stop chasing what the world tells you to pursue, you open yourself up to a life full of purpose. You no longer need external validation because you've already found your worth within. And the beauty of this freedom is that it makes you bulletproof to outside pressures. The world might try to tempt you with shiny things, but you know that your peace, your joy, and your true success lie in living a life true to yourself. The next time you're faced with a choice, big or small, ask yourself, does this align with my values? That simple question has the power to change everything. It's a question that cuts through the noise and gets to the heart of what truly matters. And when you live by that, you create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also deeply meaningful, a life that's truly yours. 5. You are your truest self. In a world that relentlessly pushes us to fit into molds, to look a certain way, act a certain way, and be a certain way, standing firm in your authenticity is nothing short of revolutionary. Everywhere you turn, there are messages telling you who you should be. On social media, in advertising, even in casual conversations. Everyone seems to be playing the game of impressing others with their accomplishments, their possessions, their curated lives. But here's the truth. True strength doesn't come from conforming. It comes from being unapologetically you. Picture this. You're at a social event. You're surrounded by people telling exaggerated stories, showcasing their latest achievements, and wearing clothes designed to turn heads. It's like everyone is on display trying to outdo each other with the most impressive, eye-catching persona. And the pressure is real. You can feel it, the subtle nudge to fit in, to say the right things, to be someone else, just to be accepted. But here's where the power of a strong mind kicks in. Instead of surrendering to the need to impress, you make a conscious choice to be yourself. You wear what feels right for you, not what's trending or what others expect. You speak from your heart with honesty and intention, without trying to shape your words for approval. You show up as the real, unfiltered version of yourself, and you stand proud in your authenticity. In doing so, you create an energy around you that's magnetic, not because you're trying to be impressive, but because you're just being real. Living authentically is the cornerstone of a strong mind. Buddhist wisdom teaches that true freedom is found not in changing ourselves to fit external expectations, but in embracing our true nature, flaws and all. The more you align with who you truly are, the more peace, confidence, and purpose you find. When you live authentically, you stop measuring yourself by the standards of others. You begin to understand that you are enough, exactly as you are, and that your worth doesn't depend on fitting into some external mold. When you're grounded in your true self, the world starts to change. The pressure to conform dissipates, and the anxiety of trying to be something you're not fades away. You feel lighter, freer, and more at ease in your own skin. In those moments, you're no longer pretending to be someone else. You are embracing your uniqueness, your quirks, your journey, and that is when you discover what real confidence looks like. This isn't just a feeling of superficial confidence. It's a deep, unshakable sense of being comfortable in your own skin, knowing that you don't need validation from others to be worthy. You stop hiding behind masks, trying to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. Instead, you boldly present your true self to the world, and this authenticity becomes your superpower. Being true to yourself doesn't mean rejecting growth or change. It means doing so on your own terms. It means understanding that growth comes from embracing your core values, from standing tall in your beliefs, and from being at peace with your individuality. It's in living in alignment with what truly matters to you that you create a life of profound meaning and purpose. Living authentically allows you to form deeper, more genuine connections with the people around you. When you show up as your true self, you give others permission to do the same. No longer are your relationships built on superficiality or facades. Instead, they are rooted in understanding, mutual respect, and true connection. It's in these real, unguarded moments that the most powerful bonds are formed. Let's face it, the world can be loud, and the pressure to conform can feel overwhelming. But the most powerful thing you can do is to tune out the noise and stand firm in who you are. The freedom that comes with living authentically is unparalleled. It's the freedom to pursue your passions, to make decisions based on your values, and to walk through life knowing that you're on the right path because it's yours, one that reflects your true self. So the next time you're faced with the temptation to conform, take a deep breath and ask yourself, who am I really? The answer lies within. When you choose to live from this place of authenticity, you unlock a power that no external approval can provide. It's the power of being unapologetically you, and that is the ultimate form of strength. 6. You have a strong sense of self-worth. In a world that constantly pushes us to measure our worth by external standards, whether it's the opinions of others, our material possessions, or how closely we follow the latest trends, it can be easy to forget the most powerful truth. Your value isn't determined by any of these things. Your worth comes from within. It's intrinsic. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that, regardless of what others think, you are enough. Imagine this. You're surrounded by people who are all striving to look a certain way, act a certain way, or present themselves in ways that align with the latest trends. Maybe it's a social event, a workplace, or even on social media, where everyone seems to be selling a version of themselves that aligns with what's in. And there you are, faced with the subtle pressure to conform, to fit in. But instead of succumbing to the need for validation, you make a powerful choice. You decide to stay true to yourself. You choose not to chase the fleeting approval that comes from following the crowd or imitating others. Instead, you decide to wear what makes you feel authentic. You wear what empowers you, not what's trendy or expected. You speak your truth, not because it will win anyone's favor, but because it aligns with your own integrity. This is the quiet strength of knowing your self-worth. It's not about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself. A strong mind knows this well. It understands that the approval of others isn't what makes us whole. Our value is inherent, tied to who we are at our core, not to the approval we seek from the outside world. Buddhist teachings remind us that true self-worth is grounded in self-awareness and self-respect. The Buddha taught that our value is not in what we accumulate, but in who we are as individuals. When we can accept ourselves, flaws, mistakes, and all, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of seeking validation. We realize that we don't need anyone's permission to feel worthy. We are whole and complete just as we are. The ability to recognize your intrinsic value is a game changer. When you fully accept that your worth is not tied to anything external, whether it's possessions, appearance, or accolades, you stop seeking outside validation. You stop adjusting your worth based on the opinions of others. Instead, you live authentically, making decisions from a place of confidence and clarity, knowing that your choices reflect your true self. This inner confidence, this rock-solid sense of self, is what allows you to stand tall amidst societal pressures. It's not arrogance, it's not indifference, it's self-assurance, the unwavering belief that you are enough. You no longer feel the need to measure yourself against others, to shrink in the face of judgment, or to change who you are to meet someone else's expectations. This is when you truly start to live freely. This is when you step into your personal power. When you are grounded in your self-worth, you begin to make decisions that align with your values, your passions, and your purpose, not because you want to impress others, but because they feel right to you. You start to choose what feels authentic, what resonates deeply with who you are, and in doing so, you create a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned with your truth. A strong mind, anchored in a deep sense of self-worth, doesn't just survive in this world, it thrives. It has the resilience to rise above external judgments and the courage to make decisions that honor its integrity. And it's in this authenticity that true power lies. 7. You are a realistic optimist. A strong mind doesn't just chase dreams blindly. It balances hope with realism. It knows that life is not always sunshine and rainbows, but it also understands that the challenges we face don't have to hold us back. Instead, they are opportunities for growth. A realistic optimist faces challenges with a clear mind, an open heart, and a steady belief in their ability to overcome obstacles. Consider learning something new, a skill, a craft, or perhaps a personal goal. A person with a strong mind doesn't expect to master it overnight. They understand that growth takes time, and improvement doesn't happen all at once. Instead of being overwhelmed by the idea of perfection, they break down their goals into manageable steps. They celebrate the small wins along the way, knowing that every tiny improvement is a step forward. This approach doesn't ignore reality. It doesn't pretend that success is guaranteed or that challenges will magically disappear. But it also doesn't succumb to pessimism. A strong mind sees challenges as opportunities to learn and evolve, not as insurmountable roadblocks. A realistic optimist doesn't dwell on what's out of their control. They focus on what they can do today to inch closer to their goals. In Buddhist philosophy, this balance is vital. We're taught to cultivate mindfulness, to focus on what we can control, and to let go of attachment to the outcome. Instead of clinging to a rigid idea of success, we approach life with patience and adaptability. We understand that there will be difficulties, but we also trust in our ability to navigate them with grace. A realistic optimist doesn't expect the world to bend to their will. They're not blinded by wishful thinking, but they do trust that with patience, resilience, and consistent effort, they can make progress no matter how small. This mindset allows them to keep moving forward, even when the path gets tough. Realistic optimism is about knowing that life will have ups and downs, but it's also about having faith in yourself, your abilities, and your capacity to keep going. It's about keeping your feet on the ground while your heart remains hopeful, understanding that challenges are simply part of the journey. With this mindset, you not only grow stronger, you enjoy the journey itself. In a world that often pressures us to conform, the true strength of a strong mind lies in being authentic, grounded in self-worth, and embracing life with both hope and realism. The foundation of this strength is the understanding that our value doesn't depend on external approval or fleeting trends. It's in knowing who we are, accepting ourselves fully, and choosing to live in alignment with our true values. When we are rooted in our authenticity, we stop seeking validation from others and begin to make decisions that reflect our deepest truths. We learn to navigate the pressures of society with grace and confidence, creating lives that are meaningful, fulfilling, and deeply connected to who we truly are. The challenges we face become opportunities for growth, and we approach them with patience, resilience, and the belief that we are capable of overcoming them. Living with a strong mind is not about avoiding difficulties or seeking perfection. It's about embracing each moment with courage and clarity, learning from our mistakes, and rising above the noise of the world. It's about standing firm in our self-worth, trusting that we are enough, and knowing that every step we take brings us closer to living the life we are meant to live. As you walk through your own journey, remember that true strength comes from within. It's in being authentic, grounded, and resilient, even when the world tries to pull you in many directions. Keep nurturing that inner strength and know that you are enough exactly as you are,